Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season we'll be discussing a dark academia bully romance series known for its smutty content and often billed as Harry Potter for adults. That's right, grab your Stardust, we're headed to Solaria.
Welcome to Zodiac Academy. Note to students, vampire bites, loss of limbs, or getting lost in the Wailing Woods will not count as a valid excuse for being late to class or this podcast.
In today's episode, we're discussing Book 7, Heartless Sky, chapters 52 through 71, where lives are destroyed as the murderer is revealed, the curse takes hold, and a battle leaves many dead, dying, captured, or fates unknown. And yet another prophecy is revealed. Ugh, so tired of the prophecies.
Before we get into it, this is your warning for major spoilers ahead. This includes potentially all Zodiac Academy world books, including the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary series. We might accidentally let spoilers slip for other popular romantasy book series as well. Sorry in advance, like the books this podcast is rated R, so be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Alright, so last we left off, Darius had just revealed the deal he made with the stars and everyone is devastated. And Tori flew off. So we start our first chapter with Orion and they're all just sitting there talking about how horrible they feel. And we get to see Xavier and Catalina reacting to learning the news as well.
Yeah, I felt like Orion's reaction was kind of how I would have reacted, that I would have immediately looked back on everything and been like, I'm really mad. I see how all of this was happening and I totally missed it. And then I would just try to comfort him because even though I would be angry, I would be like, I'm sorry that this is happening.
Yeah, I felt so bad for Catalina. I loved how Orion reacted as well. That was great, but just my heart broke for Catalina. Oh my God, after all she's been through and then knowing what's coming and she'll be reunited with them.
I know.
Aww.
When I was listening to this, even though I knew it was coming, I was crying.
Oh.
Not like Empire of Storms crying where I just sat there devastated, but it was enough to make me cry, especially knowing
like a little tear.
Yeah, knowing what happened to her and what happened to Darius.
Yeah.
And Darcy and Darius have a sweet little moment there too.
I honestly thought kudos to Darcy for how she was like, I don't know, she kind of gives him a little bit of love that he needed in that moment. He knew that what he did was going to break people's hearts, and Darcy in a way kind of gave him a little bit of an out. And so she was like, it's terrible what you did. I wish you hadn't done it, but also thank you. And I don't know, it was kind of sweet.
I wanted to punch her.
I'm not shocked. I was waiting for you to say that, actually.
I think it was that whole like, oh, I get it. But Orion kind of did the same thing with her. And she was such a bitch about it for months. And so, that I was glad she did it for Darius. I think for him, I was glad she did it. And that we didn't have any more. So definitely grateful to the authors for not making her go down that same path. But there was a part of me that was like, I get it. Shut up. Where was this with poor Orion when he was just miserable?
To be fair, it's one feeling when you feel like your choice has been taken from you, and another feeling when somebody else takes your sister's choice and saves her life.
I get it.
She was gonna die, whereas Darcy had options. Darcy and Orion had options.
Yeah.
And I will say about Orion, he says it's so fucking obvious now. Yeah, it's been obvious the whole time, dude. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but would you really think that? Would you go down that path? I don't think you would really be like, oh, so-and-so's going to die,
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but
I think it is crazy. I don't think anyone could have ever guessed it, but hindsight is 2020. You look back on it and you're like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Tori comes back, and I'm not sure if he says this in his head before Tori comes back or not, but he calls her my queen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you're what? Huh?
I was also like, what was that?
But when he was talking to Tori, she says that if they were offered the option of becoming Elysian mates again, she would choose to be star-crossed again, just to spite the stars.
Did she say that?
She did. She said, I would make the same choice.
Well,
Just
that's
to-
different from choosing to be star-crossed
Yeah,
again.
I think she's just saying she wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, I think that she's saying that the way things happened were the way they should have happened.
Yeah.
And that she doesn't regret it because they had to fight for where they are now. And so she's saying she doesn't regret having to do that.
That's not how I read it. I read it like she said, if they were to offer me the choice right now for us to become Elysian mates right now, I would make the same choice that I did because fuck the stars. They can't choose who I'm supposed to be with. And I like being with you just because I chose you, not because they chose you for me.
But that implies to me that she would not choose to be star-crossed. She would still choose for them to be together.
Yeah.
But
I don't think
there's
she's
only
doing it
two-
to be spiteful. I think she's telling him that's how much he means. That she's saying fuck the stars, that he is hers.
There's only two options.
Why are you
either
flipping me
choose
off?
to become There's only two options. You either choose to become a Elysian mate, which she said she would not do, or you say no and you become star-crossed.
With the idea in her mind that things would still end up the way that they did.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Because she got to choose.
she can't be with him if she's star-crossed. I don't think we're saying the same thing.
I think she's
She
just
said-
saying fuck the stars. I don't think she's actually wanting things to be hard for her and Darius, but I think her point to him is that she would choose him
Yes.
even if it's hard.
Yes. Yes, she is. I agree with that completely. It's just, I don't think I would choose to go through being star-crossed again when they couldn't be together. When the stars literally shook the world to keep them apart. And they were miserable.
Well, Tori doesn't learn lessons quickly.
Actually, though, with this, I felt like her reaction was a large amount of growth. I mean, she could have held a grudge. She could have done something really stupid, but she came back and she was like, look, this is the important thing for right now. You really pissed me off, but I love you and I don't want to waste time. I also don't want to not be prepared for this war.
That is very true.
No, yeah. I mean, that was a joke about that apparently Brittany thinks that Tori thinks that they would still be star-crossed and that would be okay. But I agree that her response to Darius when she comes back is the healthiest way she could have responded. She left because she was upset. She didn't freak out at him. She punched him and then she left. And that was the healthiest thing she could have done considering how Tori has responded in past endeavors.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went off and had her tantrum somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
She comes back and is like, that's not important right now. What is important is that I love you and we're going to move on and we're going to have this discussion later.
Yeah. And, oh yeah, by the way, we're getting married in like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that shit was funny. Which I wrote that it kind of reminded me of me and Johan and that it actually made me very emotional because
Aww.
that's how we got married. So it was like,
Yeah.
aw. Because it was me and 5 people and we rushed off to do it last minute and it was like, we have to do it right now.
Definitely.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was sweet.
I love that she was like, yeah, we need to do this now before Geraldine makes it fancy.
Yeah.
That too.
I tried to do that with our wedding as well, but it didn't work out as much. Yeah.
Oh my God. But that's the one thing I love about Tori is that I feel like she really knows what love is and the fact that she's willing to bet on everything. Like she's willing to put everything on the relationship and completely go down in flames.
Yes.
Betting on it. I love that about her.
And she's like, hurry up. You're going to be Mr. Vega.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was great. He was like, what? And she was like, well, I know how it works here.
Yeah. You take the name of the most powerful, and I am the most powerful in this relationship. So.
And he, in his mind, is like, she's probably right, but she still has to fight for it.
Yep.
That shit was funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I like that.
What about the promise that she made to not let this?
She really did that, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, girl, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Though he did, I mean, spoilers for later in the book, but he did die several weeks before his due date.
Right? So I feel like the stars didn't uphold their promise.
Hmm?
That's all I gotta say.
So wait, that other book, you said it's a novella, right? Beyond the Veil?
Yeah.
So novella is a short book, so a short time, so a few weeks. Therefore, Darius comes back in a few weeks.
It's 15 hours long.
Yeah, it's 15 or 16-ish hours long.
It's crazy.
So he's going to go back. He's going to learn some information, and then he's going to come back and help. So good deal. All right.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see
still
Darius.
think he's coming back. He's definitely still coming back. So
So, to the heirs, this is basically when the battle kind of begins. But they have this wedding, they're married, and literally the twins are taken off to do some kind of weird blessing thing that is dumb.
Fucking stupid. Yeah, right there with
yeah,
you.
shit was dumb.
And while they're distracted, the heirs find out that something's wrong with their parents and siblings. So
Yeah,
they go to
okay.
they go to Acrex Manor to see what's going on.
So I immediately was like, one, you literally just promised Tori that you were not going to run off and do some dumb shit. Two, how do you not know that that's a trap?
For real.
Y'all didn't even attempt to talk to them a little bit more before. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Just jumped on Darius's back and ran off into the sunset.
So
Yeah.
from here on out, we're going to just talk about the various groups and what they went through the battle
Yeah.
instead of going chapter by chapter. So let's talk about the heirs and what they went through. They get there. They sneak into Darius's room. Darius gets a call from Gabriel and is called away.
Which is so funny because I was still writing notes up to that point, which I did stop about 3 chapters into the battle. I wrote in my notes, where are the atlases? Why don't they have atlases anymore? Because at this point, someone should be able to call them and figure out what are they doing and give them updates. And then they get a call from Darius's old atlas. And I was like, how fortuitous. That I literally just asked, where are the atlases? Anyways. Yeah.
Oh, one thing I did note too, when they get pulled away or when the war starts, when they're doing the blessing. So maybe the authors kept using Gabs for basically like spoiling easy outs and stuff like that. So when this hit,
Right.
it would hit home a little bit harder because he doesn't see it coming. And we always expect him now to fix it and to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I almost felt like it was a slap in the face for anyone that was like, Gabby always sees what's going to happen and then everything's fine. And then literally Seth says, yeah, he never really sees anything when it's really that important. And I lost it. I was like, they literally just said to us, you guys are stupid.
Yeah. Lionel uses Lavinia to plan the whole thing, so Gabriel can't see it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the heirs find their parents and some of their siblings, some of their parents, locked into providing their power to a new shadow rift that has been opened at Acrex Manor.
Right.
They need to close the rift and free their parents and siblings and distract the nymphs. So, of course, Seth has the wonderful idea to disguise himself as Lionel.
And he has way too much fun
At
doing
least
that
we
shit.
got some comedy for a minute. Yes. Yes.
He leads some of the nymphs away into the bath.
Yeah.
This will not do.
At one point, he's patting one on the shoulder and he's like, and I forgot that I'm supposed to be Lionel.
Insolence.
Disgusting.
While Caleb and Max actually go to Orion's house, which is next door, to get a binding needle, and they run into Stella.
Ah, yes.
Who doesn't really fight them.
Which we kind of thought might happen.
Mm-hmm.
So she only doesn't fight them because they want to get rid of Lavinia, not
Right.
because of Lionel.
Right, which is sad because I really expected better from her. A
You'd
little
think.
bit. A little bit.
I felt like she wouldn't really care either way because she talks about that she thought they loved each other, but he was just using her. So I kind of got the feeling that she was like, I'm not going to help you get in trouble, but I'm also not going to stop you either.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it was just the way I read it. Maybe it's the way I wanted to read it.
Yeah, I don't know. Based on how Max was reading her, I was really confused that she still cared about him.
That would
Yeah.
be hard, though, to have spent that much of your life wrapped up in someone and supporting someone, and then to,
Yeah,
even
Agreed.
though we could see it from the outside, like, hello, moron, what do you
sure,
think? He never loved
sure.
you. But for her, I think it's just been recently that she realized that he didn't care for her at all.
Yeah,
So they come back with the needle, and they do realize Hadley is being fed blood to make sure that his power is continuing. People are being tortured to keep the sirens' power level up. Antonia has the earth moving underneath her so that she can physically run under the moon while staying in the same place.
which is insane.
Yeah. And they do end up freeing them, only to be captured.
Right.
Fucking Vard.
Which I was actually kind of surprised that they end up being captured. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was about time that we have some consequences, right? So in the last few books, bad shit has happened, but typically they escape or something is resolved. And I really thought they'd at least get back home to the burrow and just see all the destruction. But for them to leave it on a cliffhanger like this was kind of surprising for the author's writing style.
Yeah. We don't get to know what happened to them. They are captured and their fate is unknown.
I don't know, though. I feel like that in the prophecy where it talks about the hound will bay for vengeance, I feel like that's saying Caleb is dead. I feel like that he is
I think that's
been
Jerry.
killed. The hound?
She's a Cerberus.
Yeah.
Seth is the wolf.
Yeah.
And Hamish just died.
Oh, that's true. I still feel like Caleb's gonna. I don't know. I've always felt all along like
You're so
Caleb's
worried he's gonna die.
But here's my thing. Why did they not kill Vard first?
For real. Why?
Come on, Caleb. You're so smart. You planned well. Why did you not?
They're both smart. It seems really unlike them that they got caught. It confuses me. I mean, bad shit happens and we have to read bad shit in books, but
yeah.
I was really surprised. I thought at least one of them would get away. So.
Darius got away.
No, he didn't get away. His dipshit brother.
Listen here, bitch.
Fucking hell. Dumbass Xavier. Hello, I'm gonna fuck with my dick the whole time and not learn shit. But no, I'm gonna go after Lionel.
He said he's been training.
Oh.
He did great in battle.
He did not.
He did great. Yes, he did. I was really
He
proud
basically
of him.
slapped his father and then ran for it while he got his ass handed to him and his wings ripped off.
I thought he was actually very smart in battle. He was going for his underbelly. That was smart.
I felt like he was giving him the equivalent of a dragon wedgie. No.
He drew blood on
I think
Lionel.
he was brave. Yeah, I think he was brave.
I'm pretty sure Lionel drew most of his blood in return, though.
Yeah.
And then he had to be saved yet again. Yeah. He needs to be in a herd of flower pickers, not in a herd that does battle. Like, that should be his herd.
To be fair, Darcy went after Lavinia, Tori went after Alejandro, and since the heirs were gone, he was technically the most powerful person and the most likely to live against Lionel. In that group.
He went up against him even though it was unlikely he would win.
Yes. Like an idiot.
Or courageous.
What else is he supposed to do? It's bravery.
He
No.
was saving people
was
from getting
upset.
eaten.
He wasn't saving anyone. He wanted to go after his father for his own vengeance. And here's the thing: if he had truly wanted
And
to
he
do
deserves
that, and
that
he was
vengeance.
brave, instead of worrying about his dumbass dick, he would have been training this whole time to do that. But he didn't do any of that shit.
You didn't say any of that about Tori, and Tori was fucking around for like months.
They
Tori
do
was
say
training.
that he was training. They just don't talk about it because these authors focus on the wrong things sometimes.
Well, Tori was training. They've been training.
Tori has also been thinking about sex the whole series, though. They've been training on and off because they're either in class or because someone else is like, hey, you should learn this. Or Darius is like, hey, you're not ready to be a leader.
Yeah, but they've been doing
It's
things
different.
that went outside of sex. But literally every chapter with him, that is the only thing it talks about. He literally does nothing but think about his dick rubies.
That was his plot line, though.
Yeah,
That
we
was
only get a
right, the plot
few
line.
chapters from him. He is doing stuff while other people have chapters.
Yeah, but they don't
Right.
put it in there. So we can't say for sure because we don't know. But he can't even do the war council because he's over having sex.
Lionel was eating people, and so he did distract Lionel from eating people and went after Xavier. So I will say he did save people from getting eaten.
But did he? Because then Darius has to get called in to save his ass. Tyler and Sophia as well. And had Darius been there, maybe they would have not gotten caught. Maybe they would have been able to save them and come back.
So what should Xavier have done then?
Well, one, train more. Stop paying attention to his
In the battle, what
his
should
little
he have
weenie.
done?
But in the battle, I mean, he could have fought those in front of him. Instead, he only went after Lionel because he was so angry at what had been done to him. That's why he went after him, because he wanted to seek vengeance on his dad. Otherwise, he could have come up with a plan ahead of time to say, hey, I want to go after him. Let's do this and this. But instead, he just ran in with absolutely no plan, no thinking, no nothing. And then it went south really quick. And then Darius has to be called in to save his ass. So wouldn't it have been better if that were truly the case to somehow get Orion's attention, get Gabriel's attention, get somebody else that's more powerful than him, that knows what they're doing in battle to do it? But I don't, and that really sucks because I don't know if you remember, but when we first started the books, my thing is that I felt like Xavier was going to become this warrior and take out his dad. That was what I had hoped. Was that Xavier was going to be the one to end Lionel. Remember, like way, way, way back. That's what I thought was going to happen. And
the glitter bomb.
Well, no. That was a little bit back, but the very, very, very back when Lionel captures everybody. I can't remember if it was the end of book 1 or book 2. And that's at the point I thought, was it 3? Huh.
When he takes the twins to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
Book 3.
Book 3, damn.
It was,
okay, I thought it was 2.
We just posted that clip the other day where you were like, I hope he takes Lionel and kicks him in the head and goes, slam it, slam it, slam it.
Was that for them? Okay.
He tried.
Well, I mean, you might have said it at book 3, but you also said it in 21.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what I'm saying is you did say it way back in the beginning, but you also said it recently that you were like, I want Xavier to be the one. You were consistent with that.
Yes. I have in the past definitely wanted him to be, but I think from the last 2 books, it has changed kind of how I've seen him. And I hate that, but just the way they did.
We did talk about it last episode, but we agreed that Xavier has some growing up to do. We all agreed on that. Maybe this will spur his growing up.
Yeah.
I feel less that he wasted his time and more that, he's a kid and he did pretty good with Lionel, I think he did his best.
I mean, to be fair, Darius fought him and did not survive.
So I don't think anyone would have survived at this point.
Possibly not, but I don't think anybody else would have had to call back somebody to come save them when they were doing something else. But that, I guess that's my thing with Xavier. He wasn't ready to be Dom yet. He shouldn't be Dom. He has 0 leadership abilities. Even in this,
Harsh.
Well, he doesn't. Even in this, Tyler is the one that really gets everything situated. He's trying to help him out. He's trying to get people out. So Tyler's really the one that has the leadership qualities at this point. Now, does that mean Xavier couldn't grow into that? But he should not be Dom at this point. Just because he can fuck really good. I don't know. That's...
I can see that. And they use the term Dom to be the most powerful. So I don't know if they're looking at leadership skills whenever they do
he
that.
has the 3 elements.
But I mean, you would think that there is some leadership involved in being the head of a herd.
Right.
He does have some growing up to do.
At least a battle
some
herd.
skills to learn.
If he was like a flower picking herd, awesome. Great. He would be the perfect Dom for that.
I was cheering him on.
How do you think?
Don't kill him.
Well, how do you think if he survives? How do you think him losing his wings is going to affect him?
Is that going to last? Are they not going to grow back?
They are not going to grow back.
God damn, that's pretty bad.
I think he's going to be upset if it makes Sophia not like him.
Oh my god. I don't think Sophia would be that shallow.
Yeah, a lot of the flying
Oh.
orders say that they feel the need to fly. They want to be in the sky, and so
Well, he
this
has
will.
to replenish his magic, right?
Yeah, and he
Oh,
does
shit.
have to fly through the clouds in order to replenish his magic.
Would somebody else flying for him work?
Yes.
That's what I'm expecting.
Oh, poor Tyler. You know, he's going to have to drag his ass through the
Can we
clouds.
make robot wings for him?
I'm pretty sure Tyler likes to be ridden.
I think so too.
Okay,
Sorry.
I didn't understand that either. Did I miss something that there's a tactical advantage to a Pegasus riding another Pegasus? Because it felt like it was a really, like, why would you do
Hands.
that? Huh?
Posable thumbs.
It allows Tyler to fight as a Pegasus and Xavier to fight with a sword.
Yes,
Okay,
that's what I'm
okay.
saying, essentially.
Because I was confused about that. Like, why are they riding him? But okay.
The Phoenix weapon.
I think that's the idea.
Okay.
You always want the cavalry to come in. All right, so let's talk about the fight between Lionel and Darius.
Oh.
So sad.
Yeah, we do.
Flocka just came over here and farted so nasty. Oh my god.
I swear,
You are
your cat is
foul.
like the fartiest cat.
She is. It's my own fault probably because of the food I give her, but god, come here. Miss Farty doesn't want attention, so
All right, so Darius is winning in this fight against Lionel until Lionel pulls a sunsteel blade and tells
Coward.
him, and tells him she's not a whore, she's my wife, and I will be bowing to her.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I know we had talked about this in the past, and y'all actually thought that Seth would be the first one to bow. And you said that Darius might be the last one and that everybody else had to bow first. But it seems here Darius is the first to accept that he will bow.
What about
Unfortunately,
Orion?
he doesn't get the chance. Well, as far as the heirs go.
What about
Orion's
Max?
not-
Okay.
You know Max,
Max
has bowed
hasn't-
to Jerry. Oh, he has. Maybe it wasn't in the book.
He
but I
might have
guarantee you
bowed to
that
Jerry,
boy
but
has
not the
been on his
queens.
knees.
Well,
To Jerry,
Xavier
but not to
has
the
been-
queens.
well, if Max can bow to Jerry off the page, then Xavier can be also training off the page. I'm sorry.
I will allow it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Anyway, so of the 4 heirs, the ones who are vying for this throne as opposed to the twins, Darius is the first to say, I will bow.
Yeah.
He has
Max.
told Jerry that he's not bowing.
Where our headcanon is that Max has already bowed. Okay. So Darius on the page has bowed, but Max somewhere in private has already bowed.
To be fair, Darius just says that he will bow. He hasn't actually done it yet.
Right, exactly. So obviously, Max.
All right. So let's talk about Darcy and Orion and their part in this battle.
I'm
The excitement on Chrissy's face.
here. I am about to express how horrified I am, and Christy's like, I can't hold it in. Let it out, Christy.
So
No, I just
their
make sure.
their target is Lavinia, so they tunnel and go fight Lavinia specifically. And we learned some things
Crazy.
about the curse that she put on her.
Because who was right? That was me.
She was right. She was right. Christy was right. After every chapter in the notes, it's Darcy.
Also, it's Darcy.
And by the way, it's Darcy.
But yeah, no, I want to point out that when we started reading this book, you were like, I'm not very good with theories. I'm always wrong.
I
Well, you were
usually
right.
am.
Well, you know what though? Christy's called a couple of them though. Christy's called a couple of
Yeah.
things that I would not have thought, or that I didn't think was going to happen.
Yeah.
So-
So yeah, no, it was funny because as soon as you said it's Darcy from the very beginning, I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? I have to steer them away.
Honestly, I feel like it was kind of clear, but then I was like, it can't be because that would be too obvious, right? She got cursed. It can't be that. And so I gaslit myself into thinking it's not her. And then, no, Christy was right. Christy was right.
Yeah, so we do get to know the nature of this curse too, is that she turns into smoke, which you said,
Oh my God.
and she manifests as a shadow beast, which is also kind of a doggish
Like
being.
Yeah.
bear thing.
So hound also could apply to her.
No. You think? Like the
Yeah,
groom?
yeah. I was thinking Hound of the Baskervilles kind of
Yeah.
dog call.
Never know.
So personally, I hated the storyline going on with Darcy and Orion because what really fucking hurt me was that Orion was trying to save her while trying to save the rebels. And God, he's just such a good man. And it's so hard to read. And he is always trying to fix shit. And
Yeah.
it just breaks my heart. And then he goes and fixes shit. And he's always sacrificing himself. And I'm tired of it. I'm fucking tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that man. I want him to be at peace. And why is he always doing this shit for Darcy? I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah.
Lavinia does bring out the shadow beast in her and sicks her on the rebels. And one of the rebels that she ends up fighting is Geraldine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that shit
and-
hurt.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and Geraldine is very hurt by the end of the book. We don't know if she will survive. She is currently alive, but unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was hard to read.
this part was, and it was serious, and it was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
But
but
there was a little bit of the movie in my head with Orion Darcy when he's trying to get through to her and everything, and I kept picturing her as a dog and him with a rolled up newspaper, like, damn it, no, stop it.
Bad
No, Darcy.
yeah. Here, girl, come over this way. Come on. Not the rebels. The
Yeah.
nymphs.
Don't eat the
Over
rebels.
here.
Well, I didn't understand too. Couldn't they have done an illusion on the nymphs so they look like the rebels, and then Darcy would go for them? You know,
That would have been smarter. That would have been smarter.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was heartbreaking, but I did have that kind of on the side that cracked me up too a little bit until we got to Jerry, and then I was pissed.
Yeah, speaking of Jerry, she does also witness the murder of her best friend,
Oh,
Angelica.
Oh my God, that killed
fucking
me.
Mildred.
Oh my God, I was
Fucking
so
Mildred.
I was so pissed.
Although
Yeah.
that begs the question
bitch has it coming.
too. Why did Lionel have her fighting? That is the last dragon that can take his seed and produce an actual dragon. Why would he
Yeah.
allow her to fight?
It's a great question. Maybe he was like, if she dies, I will have a reason not to have to fuck her.
Well, he doesn't plan to fuck her, just to inseminate her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he thinks that he does believe that dragons are more powerful and invincible than anything that they have on their side. He thinks that they're better than the phoenixes. He thinks that they're better than the werewolves, the vampires, the minotaurs, the sphinxes, the pegasus. So I don't think he can contemplate one of his dragons falling to anything but a dragon.
Maybe.
I don't know, they
He
did
has
some
been
face plants,
consistently
didn't they?
stupid, so.
Yeah. Didn't they die in front of him in this battle?
But Darius killed them.
But one of them was coming down anyways before Darius actually killed him. I mean, he was ass up on the ground.
What about Jerry's flail?
Oh yeah, one of our lovely acronyms, the flail of unending celestial karma. So
The fuck.
she wields the fuck, and she fucking wields the fuck out of that fuck.
Yeah. She sure did.
Back to Darcy and Orion. She does have this moment while in the grips of the curse where she does actually recognize Orion and his silver eyes, and she turns back into herself. But it's fleeting. And while she's back to being a fae, her silver eyes flicker because she's turning into a
kind
mortal.
of devastating because I just don't see a way out of it. I don't know.
The shadow beast is eating her power.
Let's talk a little bit about Orion's agreement with Lavinia.
Oh, so we learned that his blood was what made the curse in the first place, so he does have to pay the price, and his blood is what will break the curse, his death, essentially. And he ends up making a death bond with Lavinia so that she will take the curse off of her.
So he agrees that if he is with her for quote unquote 3 moons and does whatever she wants for 3 moons, then she will release Darcy from the curse and release him, right?
Yes. Yes. But he has to not fight back while she
Yeah.
does whatever she wants to his body.
Yeah.
This feel a little bit like Akatar.
Yeah,
to
it
you?
does. It feels like Reese. And
Mhm.
I find it hard to believe Lavinia will keep her promise, but I don't know how she couldn't because then she is supposed to die if she doesn't.
Does it apply to her though? Because she's already dead and she's just smoked. So Brittany, is she even eligible
It
to
says
make that kind
yes.
of deal?
It seems like it did since the
Yeah,
star
and
went into both of their palms.
the book makes a point of saying Lavinia says everything can die. Yes, it is possible for me to die. And then Orion's point of view says something like, well, it seems like it worked. Whatever she has that she's using as blood seems to have made the contract. So I don't know. I guess.
Okay.
And I do believe that if she dies, the curse is also broken.
Interesting.
If she loses though, or if Darcy loses all of her magic before that happens, would it come back?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I feel like it would be gone.
So what if that is the ultimate, the whole for one to rise kind of thing? What if Darcy does lose her magic? Her and Orion end up going to the mortal realm, and then Tori's the one that becomes queen.
The thing is that Orion can't live in the mortal realm for more than a few months, or he'll get sick.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming he'll lose his magic too through this whole thing.
Quite possibly.
Sorry, just throwing out a little theory.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I like theories.
Yeah.
Throw
I
all
think
your theories out.
I'm just confused because I personally still think that the series is going to end with Darcy and Tori on the throne. I'm not convinced that it's going to be any other way. I am unconvinced that they cannot convince me that despite all this bullshit, the end is not going to be them at the top with their
You can
mins.
see Darcy and Orion though wanting to have a quiet life on a little farm with just the two of them. No problems, none of this crap anymore that they're done. They get to live in peace.
Nope, because that's unfair.
I thought you wanted them to be at peace.
Of course I do, but that's not who they are.
Like Fae peace?
What is Fae peace? What would that look like? Because I feel like the farm is not enough because the Fae thrive on chaos. So I just feel like that wouldn't work. It just wouldn't
Maybe
work for
she'll
them.
start that bird sanctuary.
Oh God, I hate birds.
Aw, why?
I just don't like birds. They're creepy little animals.
They're so sweet.
Well, what do you think this deal is going to do to Darcy and Orion's relationship if they survive it?
I think they'll make it through. I think they will come together.
I think so too, but I'd like to skip over that part. I'd really just like for it to just not be happening. I'm so tired. They are finally mates. I thought that this shit would be over. I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
It's always Orion cleaning up everyone else's shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of it.
So, if they need to break the curse before the curse takes all of Darcy's magic, if that happens, how do you think they're going to break the curse?
By killing Lavinia.
Mm-hmm.
But they'd have to figure out how to kill her.
Yeah, at this point, they've tried
Incinerating?
most everything, and I
Beheading?
don't know if the curse will be broken with her death other than with her breaking the bond.
I thought you said that earlier.
If she breaks the bond.
Ooh, I have another theory. Or actually, it would be cool if Darcy masters the shadows and then turns them on Lavinia.
That would be wild.
And I think I actually wrote that. Well, I have separate notes that if there's like a conversation between the two of them, and Lavinia's like, I'm the shadow princess. And then Darcy's like, well, I'm the shadow fucking
No,
queen.
I'm bitch.
No, she's the
I am.
queen.
Well,
That'd be crazy. And that would be a way for them to unite the nymphs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
could be, though, the ones that are theorized to be living away from the shadows, wouldn't that kind of scare them off?
Maybe. I think it depends on if they're able to break the shadow issue. Maybe they can still get rid of the shadows after Darcy's gone through that and reunited them.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure she doesn't want to be queen of the shadows permanently if that happens.
Yeah.
Which now I think that's a good theory.
Okay, so on to Tori. She is blocked by a wall of nymphs, but she sees the nymph that killed her father, and she is determined to take him out.
So
Unfortunately, she can't really get to him at first, and Gabriel comes and says, call a retreat. And she does, though she stays behind. What did y'all think about her battling? And the fact that she accepted Justin Masters to stay by her side.
Oh, still don't trust him. Nope.
You still don't trust him?
Nope. Nope.
I don't know now.
No.
I don't know, man. I stand by the fact that it's weird that he is just constantly around, and he doesn't have a fully fledged character, which makes me think something's up with him.
You know
what
what I
I mean?
think they're trying to do is trick us with the Diego thing. They want us to see
Yeah.
him like Diego, like this, oh, we don't know anything and he's the good guy. And I feel like at the very end, he is, there was a moment where she was like, something was taking her by surprise. Justin was there. And I started typing out, I told you. And then he saves her. And I was like, delete.
It does trick you into thinking Justin is attacking Tori, but ends up saving her life.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go.
And she does end up making some kind of parachute, paraglider, whatever, and sends him into the air. What do you think's how's that gonna end?
I honestly, if I'm being 100% completely honest, after the stuff with Orion and Lavinia, I tuned out.
Fair enough.
I was hearing it, but I was not hearing it. I knew what was going on, but like I was actually angry. And so every part of me was just like, well, it doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
Although with Tori, Tori, the conversation she had with Darius after she comes back from being angry, after they've revealed that he's supposed to die, and she's like, well, we're going to move on. That conversation was the most proud I've ever been of Tori's character. And I think that was my favorite chapter of her because it was so real and beautiful, and their relationship, had come to this point. But I get frustrated with the way that Tori's character, the directions she's always taken in versus Darcy. And I feel like Tori always has the upper hand, and Darcy's always stupid or is always evil. And even when Tori was a shadow bitch, she was suffering, and I couldn't even be mad at her. You know what I mean? Darcy right now being the beast, it does suck, but I just want it to be over. I'm not getting anything out of it for her character, I guess. Yeah. It's more like I'm frustrated for other characters. And so I guess I was just at this moment when she was having the moment with Justin and she was fighting and it was her point of view, all I could think about was that I swear to God, if they're setting this up for Tori to be the queen, it feels like it's not right, because I feel like the way to end this series is I feel like the way to end this series is gonna be the most satisfying ending is gonna be for her and Darcy to be at the top together at the end, right? And so, I don't know, if what happens with the nymphs and with Lavinia that you predicted, Christy, if that's what happens, that's cool, but it makes me sad for Darcy's character. I want them to both be those badass bitches, and I feel like maybe this is unfair, but if Darcy is a badass shadow bitch, I'm sad about it.
Well, no, I do think in that theory, if that were to happen, she could then free the shadows, and then she doesn't have them.
Yeah, and that's cool. I always feel like Tori is this cool warrior queen, and Darcy gets stuck with the bitchiness sometimes. That is like, damn it. I like Darcy's role a lot of the times. She's one of my favorite characters in terms of scenes. So, I don't know. I have trouble with her character. I'm back and forth. I really enjoy her. Like, her and Seth are so funny. But, yeah, I don't know.
I think it's
that was a lot of
fighting.
Rambling.
Like with Tori, when she is being held by something, whether it's the shadows or even with Lionel, she's constantly fighting back. And I think with Darcy, they don't ever show that, or at least to any real extent, where she's fighting back against whatever force is holding her. At least that's the way it feels.
I think too, Tori is quite one note in a way, but one note in a way that's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Some of the errors are the same. Like Darius is kind of one note.
Seth,
we know exactly what to expect from Seth. And sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing. And with Darcy, I kind of don't know where she's going all the time. And that can be frustrating. So, long rant over. But I think I was just really feeling some shit at the end of this book.
Well, when Tori calls the retreat, Tyler has Sophia, Geraldine, and Xavier, and they all head back into the burrows to escape out the back.
Mm-hmm.
And Hamish and Catalina are there. And
I have some
Catalina
feelings about this too.
says goodbye to Xavier, and she is literally sitting there thinking, I wish I could say goodbye to Darius because I'll never see him again. And they end up making the ultimate sacrifice in order to save themselves from being captured from Lionel while helping the rebels escape.
Yeah, so my problem with this is why did they have to die? I'm a little confused about
because
that,
they
actually.
didn't fight. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They didn't hold them off.
Yeah,
They
I'm a
were
little
out of magic.
confused.
They-
But why did they offer themselves up?
Because they needed to hold that shield in order to give time for the rebels to escape out the burrows.
Nobody else could have helped them?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And the shield didn't really hold.
It held for a while. They just ran out of magic.
There had to be somebody who could hold a shield.
They could take turns.
I have a hard time with that. They could take turns.
Yeah,
I get it. They're the main characters. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, I completely agree. I was a little confused as well because it felt like that she says goodbye. We're going to hold them off, walks outside. Lionel is there. We're going to kill ourselves. They kill themselves. And it felt like there was not really a sense of them doing anything that would.
The timing is off, but they do hold that shield for a long time.
I get the shield. That I may have missed in my anger, but it still felt like, I don't know, maybe an unnecessary death or an untimely death or something. Like, it felt a little off, but maybe they didn't want to write Catalina and Hamish anymore. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have a role going forward.
If Jerry wakes up, and Xavier too, he's gonna find out that his brother and mother are dead. She's going to find out that her father is dead and her new stepmother is dead. Right. Do you think that's going to make Xavier and Geraldine closer?
I'm sure that they will lean on the only family they have.
Well, since you're asking, Brittany, then yes.
Yeah, right?
I could be misdirecting you yet again. No, just kidding.
I would think it would make them closer rather than keep them apart, but I do think that it's going to make Jerry... I think when Jerry comes back, because I'm not convinced that she's dead, I think that she is going to be really hard set on fixing things. And Xavier too, but I'm not sure how they'll go about it together as a couple.
Do you think Jerry will be mad at Max for not being there and her father dying? And if Max and the other heirs were there, maybe they could have survived?
I hope not.
I mean, Max got taken hostage. I would hope that she wouldn't hold that against him.
Yeah, because he was trying to save his family.
I can't see how it would be their fault. Yeah, like she would do the same thing. And if Hamish had been held at the Eight Crux Manor, I'm sure that she would have run off and not given a shit about telling Max.
Mm-hmm. Can I also just say fucking Ellis? Linda and Ellis.
I know.
They were not present in this torture zone.
What confused me was, how did the heir's parents get stuck like that?
From what it seemed to me in the book was that Lionel and Vard took their children and then captured them.
That's sad.
And probably basically said, if you don't... Because it was just Hadley, and I'm not sure if Athena was there, but I think it was just Hadley, as far as I know, as far as children goes, and so we don't even know where the rest of them are.
Damn.
But Tori does end up killing Alejandro and then finds Darius's body on the battlefield.
Oh, that was rough. Really cool to read, though, where she kind of like creates a flare.
She makes a star promise to make the stars pay.
Yeah. Yikes.
That's an intense promise to be making.
I felt like this
fall
scene,
like a real promise? Sorry.
What?
Would it? Yeah, I'm actually interested in the answer to that.
Well, I didn't think that actually was a real promise. I thought it was just a mortal promise, I guess.
Yeah, in the Beyond the Veil book, it starts out with, they felt that promise in the veil. Darius felt that promise.
Yikes.
Huh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
for this particular scene, I felt like that this was a scene that I was waiting for with Nesta. Because in ACOTAR, you are promised
Yeah.
this major power from her, and we never really see it. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is the kind of scene I was expecting for her.
Yeah, I agree.
I loved it.
That's a
Yeah, it was
great
really
point.
good. Yeah.
And you can imagine what happens in this moment. You can kind of see it in your head just how big this intense emotional outburst is. Everything around her reverberates off of it. It's crazy.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, so cool. I think Tori is so cool. And I need that from Darcy.
I keep waiting for that. There's been several moments where I thought Darcy, I was like, okay, this is it. She is going to unleash
Yeah.
something. And then just, I felt like maybe she's a little more like Nesta in that sense.
Yeah.
But we just don't
Oh, no.
see it. Hopefully we will.
I hope so.
She also has some toughening up to do.
Okay, well.
But we also learn that after Hamish and Catalina die, Lionel enters the burrows and finally recognizes Gabriel as the Queen's son.
Dumbass.
And he was looking for a seer and has now captured one.
Okay, can I put in here that Lionel comes in a little fancy red cloak? Who the fuck is he? Like Little Red Riding Hood? I mean, come on. Did you get fixed up?
So you're telling me you carried that cape with you so you could put it on and then march in there?
I
with your
could
big
see him
bad
doing
self?
that.
Like a child with a Superman cape.
Like, be so
In
for
his
real.
little Pego bag.
I can't. I can't. Imagine, okay, he's setting up this plan with Lavinia. He's like, yes, okay, we're going to lure them away, and then everything's going to go down, and then I'm going to walk in with my cape,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to grab Gabriel. Like, I can't.
All fancy. Like, ooh, my cape.
When he was, I think it was last section, but when he was like, I'm going to dominate them, I was like, this is so goofy. I can't handle this.
Oh, that's
Nobody
what
says
Lionel's
that,
all
you
about.
weirdo.
Oh my God.
Lionel and his domination
God.
of
Yeah.
everybody, including his desk.
I fear, you know how some people say that some people should be bullied? I feel like Lionel wasn't bullied enough because
Right.
that's cringy as fuck. Hey guy, you suck.
Yeah. Although it was his bullying that made him supposedly hate the king and queen.
Yeah. And everybody else's.
Yeah, no, he just hated anybody that was more powerful than him, which was
He's
everybody.
He's just a little he's a little man. He's a small man.
Yes.
Little bitch. Okay. So before Gabriel is stardusted away, he throws his prophecy out into the ether and Tori
Oh, that's
hears
what that
it.
was.
I'm going to read it real quick.
I didn't realize it was Gabriel.
When all hope is lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that it was to Tori too.
Right. So when all hope is lost and the darkest night descends, remember the promises that bind. When the dove bleeds for love, the shadow will meet the warrior. A hound will bay for vengeance where the rift drinks deep. One chance awaits. The king may fall on the day. The hydra bellows in a spiteful palace. So
Yeah.
I don't know who the Hydra is going to be since, there are no Hydras, although there are plenty of Hydras in a spiteful palace that we know of, little statues.
Yeah, but could Vale come back as a ghost? And I mean, all he has to do is bellow, and we know, oh, yeah, that palace is going to eat that man alive.
Yes. Spiteful Palace is perfect for our pseudo House of Wind.
Now, the thing that does make a lot of sense with the hound being Seth is it says, a hound will bay for vengeance where the rift drinks deep. Right now, the only rift open is at Acrux Manor.
And I think Caleb is going to die. And that's
I was thinking his mother would die. No. I really don't think Caleb is going to die.
I don't think anybody would bay for her, though.
She is a werewolf as well. And then there's Athena, if she's there, and Grayson.
Yeah, but they're not important enough to be in the prophecy.
I don't know if Caleb's going to die.
Not to mention, you don't think that Geraldine is going to go save her man?
I think she is, and I think she's going to be real pissed about Hamish. And I think Geraldine's more of a central character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Than Seth?
Yeah, I actually do think that.
Really?
Seth is important, but I question his purpose in the story. I feel like Jerry's more of an acting player right now. I don't know.
What about when the dove bleeds for love, the shadow will meet the warrior? That could play into your theory, Christy, about the shadows meeting Darcy,
When the
the
dove
warrior.
bleeds for love.
That could. Who's the dove, though?
Who the fuck is the dove?
Would dove be some sort of sign? Isn't it some sort of
No, that's not.
astrological sign?
I don't even know. Is there
That's
a
not?
bird?
Oh, okay.
Not to my knowledge. There's Aries is a ram, Taurus is a bull, Pisces a fish. Wait, I'm trying to go in order. Capricorn is a ram or a goat.
Cancer's a crab.
Cancer's a crab. Sagittarius is a horse. Gemini
Libra
is the
is
twins.
scales.
Libra is, scales, probably.
There's a constellation that's a
Aquarius?
dove,
I don't
though, isn't
recall.
it? Or something?
There's the Leo, there's the
Okay.
lion, Virgo is the virgin. I don't even think there is a bird.
What's Aquarius?
Water bearer. Oh, I'm actually wearing my Zodiac
Water bearer.
hoodie. Yeah.
Oh,
Nice. But anyway, we don't know. Dove
Like
generally
peace or
means
love?
it's a symbol
Yeah.
of peace and love. So I don't know what it's supposed to be. Maybe one of the
That's
characters' names means
possible.
dove.
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to bring up is something that you brought up in the notes, Christy, and it's the author's note at the end of this book.
Didn't see the author's note. What did they say?
Sorry. Not sorry. Was the gist
Pretty
like
much.
if you turn the page from the last page, then they have the author's note there, and basically
They were like,
it's,
yeah,
yeah,
anyways.
sorry, not sorry.
See you
And
next
we
book.
know we traumatized you,
Yeah.
but we did it on
They love
purpose.
to do that,
So-
They think it's fun. They like to mess with
Yeah.
us. They're fake.
Yeah.
They have issues.
Oh yeah.
They have issues. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll go back and
Yeah, you
watch.
should read it. You should read it.
All right, so we are left with Darius dead, Hamish and Catalina dead, Angelica dead, Geraldine and Xavier's fate uncertain. They're kind of in a bad place. The rebels are running. They no longer have their little burrow to hide in. Gabriel's been captured. Orion's been captured. Darcy's location is unknown. And Tori is out for vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on what's going to happen next? What you hope to see?
I think we're gonna see a lot of Orion and Lavinia. Yeah.
Yeah, I can pretty much guarantee that.
What's with these authors and torture,
Lots
man?
of torture.
Mm-hmm. Especially from poor Orion. And did I read it correctly that it sounded like when Xavier was on the ground that the rebels were running past him and left him? Like he was there hurt. He wasn't dead. And they were fucking running for it themselves and didn't bother to help him at all. Did I read that right?
I don't know if it was his herd. I think for him, the only people he considers part of his herd are
Taylor as a
The
pet.
Tyler
rebels.
and Sophia.
But no, these are the rebels, and the rebels should have stopped to help him.
They should have, but
Yeah. So
I mean, we've already seen what kind of people they are.
Yeah.
yeah.
Where do we think Darcy ran off
I don't
to?
know.
That's a good question. I have no idea. Maybe.
At a rift.
Oh, a rift. What about that shooting star, the meteor that Orion mentions? And he's like, meet me where the meteor lands in the morning.
So I'm wondering if he's still gonna do that
Yeah.
because he made that agreement with Lavinia. So I'm
He
like,
can't anymore, but she doesn't know that.
yeah.
And what happened to the Imperial Star? And how has that not been an issue
Oh.
before? Because it says when she changed to the beast that it fell off of her. But that means every time she changed before, it fell off. So
Maybe
I'm
it was
confused.
because she changed to smoke in her room. I don't know. That
I
is
honestly
a good
thought
point.
that
Hmm.
I honestly thought the Imperial Star was going to be the answer. That by using it, they would be able to save her from the curse, or possibly even kill Lavinia. But they've done nothing with it since they got it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So far, it's been a keep away from Lionel because they are not technically reigning monarchs.
Yeah, but they use it once.
Mm-mm.
Well, they used their monarchy blood. I don't understand.
yeah, it's not consistent.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So where is the
way-
Imperial Star right now?
in the dirt on the battlefield,
Okay.
I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Justin's gonna
Oh,
find it.
fuck. Yep.
Or a nymph.
Little ass plant. Mm-hmm.
Justin's gonna find it and take it to Lionel because he's a
Yep.
traitor.
But even if, say, Darcy was queen and Tori was not, Tori, despite being royal, could not use the imperial star because she's not the reigning monarch.
Right.
So that's why they have royal blood, but the imperial star only works for a reigning monarch.
I don't know. It's such a piece of shit. They should give it to Lionel. I mean, all it's going to do is confuse the hell out of him and give him absolutely not any good information.
It obeys commands,
No,
like,
it doesn't.
destroy my enemy.
Not really, because Hale was like, help me. And it was like, no.
It did help. Well, it gave the help that it thought it could. He just didn't understand it.
Verbal
but
gymnastics?
He also said, cure my people of plague, and it was done. So when it's an action like that, the star will do it without, granted, they need to know the command words that are in that journal, but who knows? Maybe Vard will see them. Although, since Vard doesn't see very much at all, What do you think they're going to do to Gabriel?
Let Vard use him.
Huh?
What if they scoop out his eye? That'd be
Or they
crazy.
can implant Vard into Gabriel.
I mean, he is a Cyclops.
Oh, yeah. He'll be like a...
Christy, you guess who's
Do
here?
what?
I said, guess who's here, Christy?
Simon!
Flocka.
Hi, Flocka!
Remember how you said that she would be here at the end of the episode?
Yes. Because she's going to be awake now.
No, she's here.
Hi, Flocka. She's such a cutie.
She's a menace.
It's the only way to be.
Any thoughts about Gabriel?
I said they're going to scoop out his eye.
Could Vard see Gabriel's visions? Can he force his way into his mind? And then, because he's a Cyclops, he could do that, right? That he could see his visions and kind of use him like a crystal ball.
He can.
Oh
not
my God,
while,
that's a great theory.
Yeah, not while Gabriel's having the vision, but once it becomes part of his memory.
Then he could.
Yeah, that's a great theory.
I don't like that though.
I wonder if they're going to torture him.
Probably.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if his family will save him.
do you think that
Or at least make an attempt.
Do you think that they would leave him behind?
No.
I don't
I
think
think
so.
Gabriel's going to kill Vard though.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So any last thoughts about the book at all?
It's mean.
This is probably so far one of the best
This
books
was rough.
This is mean.
in the series.
Yes.
This is very rude. Very rude ending. I'm offended.
I thought this was one of my favorite books in the series, and it was gut-wrenching to end it this way.
Yes.
That actually was so fucking rude. And we knew it was going to be bad, but goddamn.
Yes. Yeah.
Picking you up to take you
Like
down.
one of those table things where they jerked the towel out from under it, except for they fucked up and then like jerked everything on the table. That is what I felt
That's
like.
funny.
Oh God.
Christy was on her A game with this one.
With the Charlie Brown and the football. There you go. That's what it felt like.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Fucking Lucy. These authors are Lucy.
They are.
Oh my God. All right. Well, we're going to end there. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Next episode, we'll be discussing Book 8, Sorrow and Starlight, chapters 1 through 18. New episodes drop every week.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to continue to bring you new episodes each week, so please do so. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.